What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back for another Pokemon challenge on Pokemon Red. I will get out the new Pokemon Unbound update for you guys, Pokemon. I don't know how I came up with this idea, but it seemed like a fun idea and this is what we're going to do. So we're going to take all the monkey Pokemon available to us in the entire Pokedex and use them on my team. Now obviously it does take a while for me to put together these videos, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could leave a like on this video and support the channel obviously. But anyways, let's get back into the rules of the challenge. Obviously, I'm playing on Radical Red. I'm playing on minimal grinding just to make it a bit easier on us. And if you guys do not know what Radical Red is, it is a very difficult ROM hack of Pokemon Fire Red that includes Pokemon all the way up into the Galar region and also increased difficulty in the bosses. Outside of that though, the last rule for this challenge video will be each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving your nickname in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge videos, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down here, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below some challenge ideas just like this one, and subscribe if you guys are not already. It'll really help my channel. And let's get into the challenge video itself. Our first monkey Pokemon is giving me a 1% encounter. Actually, it's 1% encounter in Route 1, 2, and Route 22. Fine because they're 1% encounters, but we're able to find ourselves a Panpour and then Dex Snap it purposely to get the secret ability, the hidden now, but it will get Sage Power. And then we're going to head into Route 22 where we're able to find ourselves a Mankey, catch ourselves a Mankey with obviously the hidden ability as well. This will give it Guerrilla Tactics, which is a very strong ability that boosts its physical attack. It's basically a built-in Choice Band as an ability, so you could stack it on top of another Choice Band. And from there we're going to head into Route 2 to get ourselves a Pansage, which is going to be, a 1% encounter, and also a Pansear to round up our team for now. For our Pokemon team is looking pretty nice as we head into the first mini boss of the game. We're going to face off against Falkner. Now Falkner is actually pretty difficult. Luckily we got very lucky in the roughly hitting itself in confusion here, and then I'm able to meditate up against him and then Rock Tomb down the Corvisquire and knocked out the Rufflet as well, and that's going to be how we beat down Falkner. From there we're going to face off against the first gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Brock, and that Brock's going to be the rock type gym leader in the game. We're going to send out our Mankey first to bait out his self-destruct very easily. This is my first attempt against him as well, but my Panpour comes out to finish the job against the Onix, knock him out, take not too much damage actually, and then I'm able to switch out from my Panpour into my Pansage to sack it against the Arcan, switch out into my Mankey just to bait out its berry and just to sack it. Then it allows me to go in my Panpour to one-shot the Arcan with a crit, luckily, and then I'm able to two-shot the Vulpix, survive its hidden power, which I think is hidden power grass, and we're able to beat Brock very easily. Now next up, we're going to head into the Pokemon Center right outside of Mount Moon, and we're able to find ourselves a Water Stone. We're going to evolve our Panpour once it gets to level 22, I think, because that's when it's going to learn Scald, and it's the last move I really want from its moveset, so that's actually the last important move that all the elemental monkey Pokemon really need. And then from there we're going to head into Mount Moon. Multiple things we have to do here. We have to get some tiny mushrooms to obviously relearn some moves when we want them. Also to go against some Slugmas and thief them to get some reds. Actually give me one of the strongest monkey Pokemon we'll probably find. From there we're going to clear through Mount Moon and beat down Archer. We have a Simipour now, which Sage Power and is absolutely broken. It one-shots everything. It's crazy out here. And then from there we're going to leave outside a bunch of Bellsprouts to get the green shard against them. This will also allow us to hunt for a Grookey later in the game as a starter Pokemon. And then we're going to head into Route 25 and catch ourselves an Aipon. Pretty decent monkey Pokemon. Catch it on the last ball possible. You might think I'm done, but I looked at a graphic before I did this video, did a little research, and then it said Slackoff was a monkey Pokemon, and I believed it. And then I asked someone, and no, it's a Sloth. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a Sloth. So I'm going to unfortunately use Slackoff for a bit of the run. I know it doesn't count as a monkey Pokemon, but I got tricked. There was a graphic on Google Images that said Slackoff, Slacking, and Vigoroth were all monkey Pokemon. They're not monkey Pokemon at all. They are Sloths, obviously. So unfortunately, I bend the rules a little bit, but I will get rid of them eventually. I think they're only here for the next 2 gyms. I will abandon Slackoff and Slacking after the next 2 gyms. They don't play too big of a role as we head into the second gym in the game. We're going to face off against Misty. Misty now is going to be the water type gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against her using our Simisage that we evolve. Mega Drain with 2-shot down the Frogadier, as we also are able to knock down the Floatzel. We're going to switch out to our Vigoroth, unfortunately. and then we're gonna Sucker Punch down the Floatzel. Lantern's gonna knock us down, which is completely fine for me, as I'm able to switch out into my Simipour first. Okay, just sack everything, nice. Okay, this was a horrible run. As you can see, I sacked two. How many Pokemon am I gonna sack? I sacked 3 Pokemon? That is crazy. Now I switch out to my Simisage to knock out the Lantern. Luckily, Starmie comes out, I'm able to Mega Drain it down, and it's unable to beat me. So, it recovers, stalls me, it does not work. Simisage, luckily, will finish off against Misty, but I just threw the game so hard over there. From there, though, we're going to face off against Brendan outside of Vermilion City. He's going to give us some lucky eggs that help us train up a little bit better. We're going to head into Route 9 up here next to Rock Tunnel, and we're going to catch ourselves a Darumaka. That's going to be a nice addition to our team. And then we're going to face off against Lieutenant Surge in Vermilion City. He's going to be the Electric type gym leader. We're going to start the battle off against him using our Simisage. We're going to Mega Drain down his Pincurchin, which does a lot, surprisingly. And then he can switch out to his Vikavolt, which allows me to Flare Blitz him using my Darumaka is Chris. Obviously, I'm going to sack it against the Raichu. Switch out to my Ambipom to fake it out, and then a U-turn will knock him out. Ambipom is so quick, it just outspeeded a Alolan Raichu. That is crazy. From there, I'm going to switch out into my Vigoroth next, because Vigoroth is able to Bulldoze into the Manectric, or Bolton, as it Volt switches out. And then I can switch back into my Vigoroth to knock him out using Bulldoze, and then Bulldoze into the Manectric to lower his speed. I know he's a Sloth, but all his utility, all his moves, I could have used with Primeape. So really, I'm not really gaining an advantage with it. I just kind of forgot that Sloths exist. But we end up beating Lieutenant Surge without too much of an issue, and we can move on into the Rock Tunnel. Nothing for us in the rock. The eggs for the starter Pokemon. There are 2 monkey Pokemon that we're going to try to get from the starter eggs. The starter eggs are randomized between a few of the starter Pokemon within the generations of Pokemon. We want a Chimchar. Obviously, it's going to be one of the better Pokemon. And another one, we want a Grookey because it is a grass monkey Pokemon. With also an insane hidden ability that we'll get into in a little bit. Well, from there, we're going to head into the next gym of the game. We're going to face off against Erica. And Erica is giving me the grass type gym leader. We're going to start the battle against her using our Infernape. He's going to Flame Wheel into the Rillaboom to burn it on accident and then knock him out using another Flame Wheel, which is amazing. He's going to switch out to his Venusaur next. I am going to fake out to the Venusaur and then U-turn him into my Darmanitan. It allows me to Flare Blitz into him. And then it doesn't knock him out, which allows me to go back into my Ambipom to fake him out. Rillaboom goes down in his first battle. But Ambipom is clutching up, fake out, knock out the Superior. And then I'm going to U-turn once again. Ambipom is such an annoying Pokemon. As I sack my Simipour and I go out into my Infernape next, close combat would knock out the Sudowoodo, and then her final Pokemon will be a Meganium. I went into my Slacking. This is the final battle with Slacking, I promise. I will not have Slacking on my team anymore. Slacking's only here to just kind of waste some time. It doesn't even do that. I'm able to Flame Wheel into the Meganium to knock him out, and I would have knocked him out anyway. So Slacking didn't play a big part. Again, I'm just an idiot, and I forgot Sloths were an animal. Anyways, from there, we can go out into the grass outside of Vermilion City and get ourselves some Sandygast. These Sandygast drop some bottle caps, which will allow us to switch our Pokemon's normal ability into their hidden ability. So we're going to acquire Iron Fist for our Infernape and also Grassy Surge for our Rillaboom. That is going to be broken. As we head into the fight against Giovanni next, Giovanni is going to be light work, as you can see. Why does that? But we're going to beat down Giovanni. Clear through Lavender Tower. Stoko, very much a pushover. I mean, Ambipom almost destroyed the Charizard itself. And then we're going to Mach Punch it. And then we face off again. And now we can go back. We forgot to do this. We went back to Scald's a great team. We got Ice Beam as well. And I'm not too sure what else we got. Nothing too useful, I don't think. But those are some decent TMs that are going to be very useful. Especially Ice Beam on my Simipour, because it's only using Scald for the most part. From there, we're going to face off against Sabrina next, and unfortunately, I choked my first attempt against Sabrina. As you can see, for some reason, I just decided to choke this. Sabrina's going to be the 5th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her in a double battle fight with our Darmanitan and our Primeape. Primeape is going to switch out into our Grassy Surge Rillaboom, which will cancel out its Indeedee's expanding force, so it doesn't do too much damage. And I'm able to Flare Blitz into the Hatterene to avoid a Trick Room and to knock it out. Next up, we're going to Flare Blitz into the Conkeldurr as we Wood Hammer into the Indeedee. We knock out the Conkeldurr and also the Indeedee, obviously, because these are pretty strong moves. Her next two Pokemon will be a Crawdon and a Porygon 2. I assumed Superpower was going to knock out the Porygon 2. It did not, and I'm able to Drum Beat into the Crawdon. But it sets up a Trick Room next, which actually turns out to be great for us, as I'm able to Fake Out into the Porygon 2 and then Drum Beat it to knock him out. Final Pokemon is going to be a Gardevoir, but Trick Room's up, so I'm able to hit the Gardevoir with a very powerful Wood Hammer and knock out the Gardevoir, and then double hit on the Cycling Road, and we're going to clear through Brendan. Once we beat Brendan though, we're going to go out and get ourselves some Love Heart Scales, and for once, we're going to teach some of our Pokemon some egg moves. These egg moves are actually pretty useful. We got Fake Out on a lot of our Pokemon, which is pretty nice as a priority move, and then we're gonna, so to get around this, we're going to show Chuck our Darmanitan with high physical attack, which he'll give us a Focus Sash, and then from there, even through some hiccups that our Rillaboom got froze from the Greninja, we're able to face off against Fuchsia City's gym leader. We're going to face off against Koga. We're going to start the battle against Koga using our Simipour. Now Simipour is going to Ice Beam into the Swell to knock him out in one shot, force out the Greninja, which will allow me very easily. Then the Cellular comes out next. I decide to switch out to my Infernape because it's going to Bug Buzz me, and I'm able to Pyro Ball, knock him out. I know he doesn't have a Sash, so that's all good. He sends out his Dragapult next. I'm able to sack my Simipour. Oh, does not one-shot it, but two-shot it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to sack my primary to the Drapion and then switch out to my Rillaboom against the Drapion to fake him out, do some chip damage. I should have went for a Wood Hammer. That was a bad play. I don't know why I went for a Drum Beating. I went into my Infernape next to Power Ball to knock out the Drapion, but he's going to switch out into his Toxicity, which takes a chunky amount, which allows me to go to my Ambipom to knock him out with a Fake Out and also knock out the Drapion very easily, and we beat down Koga for a 6 gym badge. Now from there is something we could do for Koga. We're going to show Koga a Ninjask to get ourselves a Life Orb, and then face off against Price with our Infernape, and Infernape is going to clear through Price very easily, as you can see. And then we get a Choice Scarf from Price. We also went into Seafoam Island to catch ourselves a second Darmanitan, and then we're going to face off against Jasmine, which Jasmine's up. We had a Choice Band from her, which is going to be very useful. And then we're going to face off against the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Blaine. Blaine is going to be the fire type gym leader in the game. We're going to send out our Simipour first. Now Simipour with a Life Orb will surf through Sun. We'll knock out the Torkoal with one shot. Next up, he's going to switch out into a Venusaur. I'm going to go into my Infernape because my Infernape will be able to live a Sludge Bomb with a Focus Sash, and Pyro Ball will knock out the Venusaur. Well, with a Mach Punch, obviously. And then his next Pokemon will be a Cinderace. I think I outplayed myself here. I went for a Swords Dance, assuming he's going to go for a Sucker Punch. He's going to High Jump Kick me for no reason and knock me out. So I decided to go into my Simipour and then got High Jump Kicked as well. So I went into my Rillaboom next to Grassy Glide. Somehow the Grass type is the strongest Pokemon, and unfortunately he will go down to an Eruption from the Typhlosion. Allows me to go into my Ambipom to Tail Slap to almost knock out the Typhlosion, which is so bad. So I assume at this point the battle was over. I went into my Primeape. Primeape has a Choice Scarf on, which allows me to Rock Tomb, knock out the Typhlosion. Face off against the Sunflora next. I'm able to Rock Tomb, avoid his move, and then Rock Tomb him again. And then at this point I knew the game was over because he has a Charizard Y. I Rock Tomb and then Rock Tomb will one-shot the Charizard. So we are very lucky there, and we're able to beat Blaine with our Primeape. Now next up, we're going to face off against Archer and Ariana in Cerulean Cave. This is going to be a back-to-back battle, but unfortunately this is a back-to-back L for both of them, as I lose one Pokemon against Archer, and then I'm able. These monkeys on my team are very, very powerful. I really love Simipour as a Pokemon. I think I'm going to replace Darmanitan Ice, Galarian Darmanitan for sure. I kind of like basic Darmanitan a little bit more. I think that's objectively wrong, but I think I like normal Darmanitan a little more than Ice type one. His moveset's kind of whack in Radical Red because I don't get any of his moves apparently. Now from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni in this double battle fight with Lance, and then just knock down the Celesteela, and we are done with that fight. Now moving on into the final gym fight of the game, we're going to face off against Claire. Claire is going to be the 8th gym leader in the game, and we're starting the battle off against her using our Infernape. We're going to force out the Aerodactyl to taunt us since we have Swords Dance. Then we're going to Mach Punch into it to knock him out. And then the Dragonite comes out next. I assume it's going to do some hefty damage because it's going to do it using Extreme Speed, which is okay. I went into my Simipour next. Simipour is going to Ice Beam and knock out the Dragonite easily, as his next Pokemon will be a Magnera. At this point, I don't know what to do. I set out my Darmanitan. Luckily, I replaced it from the Ice one. I'm able to survive a Flare Cannon, and Flare Blitz will knock him out. Naganadel comes out, it takes a Draco Meteor and then goes down. So I set up grassy terrain. I'm able to force out the Naganadel into a Dragovich, which I'm able to Grassy Glide and knock him out. And then the Grassy Glide into the Naganadel once again. Doesn't do too much as I switch out into my Infernape to close combat it, survive against him using my Focus Sash. I'm able to knock out Naganadel, following up with a Mach Punch. And our final Pokemon will be a Duraludon, which I'm able to do a huge chunk against with close combat. Obviously, he'll go down to a Draco Meteor, but my Simipour will outspeed it and Ice Beam will knock him out. And we easily beat down Claire. Not too much of an issue right there. That's actually pretty good. A nice battle as we face off against Gary next. Gary is not too difficult of a fight right here. I mean, we beat down his Staraptor. It's just luckily. I thought he had quick attack, but we barely survived him. We escaped and we beat down Brennan. And then we're gonna head into Victory Road next. Barring this battle is probably the most difficult, but since my entire team is filled with physical attackers, it's not too difficult at all. We're gonna clear through Victory Road and then head into the Pokemon League, which we're able to face off against the Elite Four next. Now, Elite Four, they're pretty simple actually. I don't think I have too much trouble against them and our Ambipom. We're going to Grassy Glide into the Politoed to knock them out and fake out, break the Poliwrath's Focus Sash, which is nice. She's going to switch out automatically into her Kyogre. So Grassy Glide into it will actually end up knocking him out, which is amazing. And Tail Slap, surprisingly, will knock out the Poliwrath for us. So things are looking great for us as I'm able to Grassy Glide into the Swampert to knock him out. And then the Kingdra almost and Dragovich. It allows me to Grassy Glide into the Dragovich to almost knock him out. I switch out to my Infernape for some reason. I am just showboating at this point. But I'm able to knock out the Dragovich with this following turn. And the Kingdra will go to the first Elite Four member as we face off against the next one. The next one's going to be Bruno. And Bruno's going to be the Fighting type Elite Four member. He's going to start a battle off against us with a Mirror Fight using an Infernape. I'm going to close combat into him as he's forced to taunt. And I'm able to Mach Punch and knock him out. His next Pokemon will be a Como-O. I decided to switch out to my primary to Swagger. I should have just Ice Punched him. Thinking back, that's such a bad play because I sent out my Simipour to take a Clanger Soul Blades, but I forced out the Conqueror, which will get burned by me. So, I mean, maybe things worked out pretty well. I went into my Darmanitan, assuming he's going to go into his. So, I'm going to Flare Blitz him using my Darmanitan. And then I decided to go into my Ambipom next. Ambipom is going to U-turn on top of the Zacian to go into my Infernape. This will allow me to Pyro Ball into the Zacian to knock him out in one shot. Force out the Como, and then he just allows me to close combat him. Now I want to preserve this against the Lucario, so I decided to switch out into my Simipour against the Lucario. He's going to close combat to lower his defenses, which actually works out for me. Since I switch out into my and his final Pokemon will be an Urshifu, I switch anything, and then I'm able to go into my Infernape to Mach Punch, not knock him out, but I'm able to go into my Ambipom to fake out to knock him out in the following turn, and we beat Bruno very easily. Now next up, we're going to face off against Agatha. Agatha is going to be the Ghost type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start a battle off against her using our Infernape to Mach Punch into the Zoroark to knock him out. Just super simple things. Next up, she can switch out to her Spectrier, which will get a Pyro Ball to his face. It's obviously you can get a boost up, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. As I go out into my Grassy Glide, Rillaboom. I don't know why I didn't explain it, but if Grassy Glide is used in grassy terrain, its priority goes boosted. So we're able to knock out the Spectrier. We're going to save this against Agatha. So I Darmanitan next to Flare Blitz to knock out, guaranteed to knock out the Gengar. I went to my Ambipom next. Technician boosted, and I get 4 hits against the Silvally. It's insane as I'm able to knock out the Silvally, sack my poor Ambipom, and then go into my Darmanitan to Flare Blitz to knock out the Aegislash and basically knock out the Marshadow for me. And we beat Agatha very easily. We didn't even use Simipour. Wow. This was an easy battle, as you see. Next up, we're going to face off against Lance. Lance is going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member. He's going to start the battle off against us, not using a Dragon type. He's going to start off using an Aerodactyl. He's going to force to taunt me as I'm close combating into his face. And then Mach Punch to knock him out for sure. As Dragonite comes on next, I am a bit scared of this thing because it might just knock me out. It could sweep my entire team actually. I decided to go into my Ambipom next to take an Earthquake and fake him out, break his multi-skill, and then somehow Tail Slap destroys him. I was like, oh my goodness. So we beat the Dragonite, which is insane. So next up, I switch out to my Rillaboom against the right play right now. I went into my Primarate next to do a chunky amount against the Dialga. Unfortunately, he does not knock him out. He's going to knock me out. I went into my Infernape knowing he's getting rest up so I could Swords Dance. Finally, the only time I've used Swords Dance as a move. I'm able to two-shot the Dialga using Close Combat to knock him out. And then his last two Pokemon will be a Salamence and also Melmetal. I'm going to Pyro Ball into the Salamence, which doesn't end up too well for me. I'm able to switch out into my Simipour to outspeed him and Ice Beam. His last Pokemon will be a Melmetal, and I'm able to switch out into my Rillaboom for some reason. I should have just went into my Darmanitan, but I'm going to waste some time and then go into my Darmanitan once again to Flare Blitz, two-shot against Melmetal. And we've beaten Lance of the Elite Four. Now moving on, we're going to face off against our rival for the final fight in the game. He's going to start the battle off against us using a Pheromosa. I'm going to fake out him and then Metagross obviously. I switch out into my Darmanitan to take the Bullet Punch and also the Zen Headbutt. Oh, he did not Zen Headbutt me. What? He's going to get hit with a hefty Flare Blitz and also knock him out. His Eternatus comes out next. This is where I sack my Ambipom. Get a free switch into my Primate to Bulldoze into the Eternatus. Lower his speed, and that means I outspeed it at this point to knock him out in the following turn. He's going to switch out to his Yveltal next. I'm going to switch out to my Simipour, avoid his Sucker Punch, and then Ice Beam him. Not knock him out though, he's going to unfortunately knock me out. But it allows me to go into my Infernape next to Pyro Ball and knock out the Yveltal. This next Pokemon will be a Groudon, which I actually found pretty annoying. I'm able to Close Combat into him, but it doesn't do too much. I went into my Darmanitan, Earthquake him, does a lot. And then I could go into my Rillaboom to Grassy Glide, knock out the Groudon. And then his Galarian Darmanitan comes out next. I'm going to Grassy Glide and then take a Flare Blitz. And the Recoil would knock out the Darmanitan. And we easily beat Radical. Fun to do. If you guys want me to do some more like special challenges, some fun challenges on Pokemon Radical Red, there are difficult ones. You guys got to leave them in the comments though, obviously. But there are difficult ones that I want to do. And for sure, if you guys want to watch them, just always remember to leave a like on the video to support the channel. So I know you guys do enjoy these type of videos. And also subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. My name's Ben Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day. And I'm out. Peace. I'll see you guys Saturday for the Hardcore Nuzlocke. But I might be posting some Pokemon Showdown if you guys do care. Anyways, peace out.